My parents handed my sister a luxury villa and left me with an empty parking lot. You can always sleep under the stars, they sneered. When I turned that lot into a business and they suddenly wanted in, I should have known this dinner was a trap. They never invited me over without a reason, usually to remind me how much of a failure I was, but I showed up anyway, holding on to that foolish hope that maybe this time would be different. I'm a mechanic, nothing glamorous, but I'm good at what I do. I fix things, get paid, and keep to myself. Meanwhile, my sister Emily, she's the golden child, never worked a day. Everything handed to her. She could torch the house, and they'd blame me. I walked in to find Emily already there, sipping wine like she owned the place. Dad was buried in the newspaper. Mom busy in the kitchen avoiding eye contact. Wow, Emily mocked. You actually came? Took a night off from fixing cars? I ignored her and sat down. Mom said it was important. Dad folded his paper. We've decided to divide our assets. Emily lit up instantly. Mom smiled at her. We're giving you the beach house, sweetheart. Emily gasped, clutching her chest like she'd won an award. The one in Maine? Mom nodded. Yes, it's yours. I waited. There had to be something for me, right? Dad looked at me, expression cold. And you, Logan, get the parking lot. I blinked. What? The old lot on 8th Street? Mom waved her hand dismissively. It's land, you can figure something out. Emily burst out laughing. That's hilarious, she smirked. Well, at least you'll always have a place to sleep under the stars. Dad chuckled. That lot's been empty for years, maybe you can open a lemonade stand. Mom sighed. Logan, you always said you wanted to build something yourself. Now's your chance. I stared at them. This wasn't kindness disguised as cruelty, it was just garbage. A memory hit me, 16 years old, covered in grease from my first job, proudly holding my paycheck. Emily whining on the couch for a new car, Dad not looking up. You're gonna smell like oil forever. Ha, he'd sneered. Mom, at least he's useful. Maybe one day he'll fix your car for free. Emily never had to. They bought her a BMW that week. Years later, nothing had changed. I took a deep breath and pushed back from the table. You're serious? Dad shrugged. Be grateful we're giving you anything. Emily snickered. Maybe someday you'll afford real property. They laughed like it was the funniest thing ever. I gripped the chair's edge until my knuckles turned white. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just said, not okay. Mom frowned. No thank you? I stood. Oh, I'll make something of it. I looked at Emily. She rolled her eyes. Sure, Logan, can't wait to see what you do with a slab of concrete. Dad muttered. Always so dramatic. I walked out. Fine, they thought they could humiliate me. I'd turn that worthless parking lot into something they'd never expect, and when I did, they'd regret every word. I stood there, staring at cracked asphalt, weeds poking through, a rusted sign barely hanging on. My parents didn't just screw me over, they laughed while doing it. Fine, they wanted me to fail. I'd make sure they choked on their words. The next morning, I filed permits for food trucks. That slab of concrete? I'd turn it into a goldmine. Within a week, I had deals with top local food trucks, tacos, burgers, coffee, even some fancy vegan bowls for hipsters. I took a small loan, not from a bank, but from my auto shop boss, a guy who believed in hard work. I set up lights, seating, music, banners, turning the lot into something real. 3 weeks later, that empty lot was a buzzing food court with live music and lines around the block. Then the real fun began. A month in, after going viral on social media, I saw her mom strolling in her expensive coat, looking like she'd just walked into a dump. I was checking inventory when she came over. So this is what you've done, she wrinkled her nose. I didn't even look at her. You gave me trash, I made it work. She scoffed. This isn't a real business, just a phase, right? I laughed. A phase making more money than Emily's influencer nonsense. Her face twitched. Emily appeared. Smugness wiped clean. What is this? A flea market? I grinned. It's called success. She scoffed again. This is a joke, no real money. I waved at the crowd. Then why are hundreds spending their fake money here every night? Some customers applauded. Emily's face flushed red. Mom, Say something, she whined. Mom cleared her throat. Logan, we're just worried it's not stable. I raised an eyebrow. Stable? Like the fully furnished beach house you gave Emily for free? Emily quickly cut in. You can't sell this, it's family property. I let out a short laugh. Oh, now it's family property? Funny, I don't recall hearing the word family when you were all laughing at me. Her jaw tightened. This isn't fair, she snapped. You didn't earn this. I turned slowly to face her. You're seriously saying that to me? She crossed her arms, but her confidence faltered. I'm just saying, selling it would betray the family. I raised an eyebrow. When you dumped it on me as a joke, that wasn't betrayal? Mom looked for something to say, then settled on. Well, if this business is doing so well, maybe we should talk about a partnership. I stared, then laughed loud enough to turn a few heads. You're joking, right? You ignored me, humiliated me, gave me nothing. Now that I've made something, you want a cut? Emily folded her arms. It's family money now. I stepped forward, locking eyes with her coldly. You already got your share, live with it. Without another word, I turned and walked straight into my business, leaving them frozen. They thought they could break me. I was just getting started. I was in my office, a converted shipping container at the edge of the lot, when my phone buzzed. Caller ID, Mom. I stared for a second, then declined. Another call, then another. They needed something. My food truck park was now the hottest spot in town. Live music, weekend events, VIP areas, influencers lining up. I was making more in a month than I used to in a year. Suddenly, the family who'd laughed at me wouldn't stop calling. Days later, I was overseeing a delivery when I heard a voice that made my skin crawl. Logan. I turned. Emily stood there, arms crossed, but not smug, desperate. I raised an eyebrow. Wow, you actually came. What, car trouble? She exhaled sharply. I need to talk. I glanced at my watch. 5 minutes, make it count. Her jaw clenched, then she swallowed pride. I need to sell the beach house. I blinked. The same one you bragged about? She ignored me. The market's bad, I need money fast. I smirked. Let me guess, too many vacations, designer bags, overpriced lattes? She stiffened. It's complicated, just say you'll help. I leaned on a truck. Help how? She hesitated. $200,000 to cover debts before listing. I whistled. That's rough. Waved to the driver. Good luck with that. She grabbed my arm. Seriously? You have the money. I pulled away. Oh, now my business is real enough for you to beg? Her face flushed. Logan, we're family. I laughed. Funny, last time we talked, I was a joke. Where's that energy now? She opened her mouth, then closed it. I'll pay you back, please. I stared a moment, then leaned in. No. Her eyes widened. No? I smiled. Yes, the same way you and Mom and Dad said no when I needed help, the same way you all laughed. No, Emily, I won't bail you out. She stepped back, shocked. Rage boiled over. Are you serious? You're going to let me fail? I shrugged. Not my problem. Walked away. But it wasn't over. A week later, I pulled into the lot and saw Mom and Dad standing there. Mom looked irritated, Dad tired. Logan, Mom said, we need to talk. I sighed. Let me guess, Emily ran crying to you and now you're here to talk sense? Mom pursed her lips. This is serious. Dad spoke. We need your help, son. I raised an eyebrow. Son, now I'm a son again? Mom sighed. Your father's business is failing. We're in financial trouble. I fought a smile. Oh, the family who gave Emily a mansion and me a slab of concrete is struggling? Shocker. Mom flared nostrils. Don't be childish, Logan. I tilted my head. Childish? Like laughing when someone's struggling? Dad groaned. We don't need a lecture, we need a loan. I rubbed my chin. How much? Mom swallowed. 500,000. I laughed. $500,000? Dad nodded, exhausted. You're successful, you can afford it. I crossed my arms. So now I'm successful. Mom snapped. Don't be a brat, we're family. I let it hang, then smiled. Let me tell you something about family. I stepped closer. Family doesn't mock you when you're down. Another step. Family doesn't treat you like a joke. One more. Family doesn't show up only when they need something. Mom went pale. Dad muttered, "Logan, please." I exhaled, shook my head. You made your choices. I gestured to my lot. My success, my empire, made mine. Stepped back. I'm not giving you a cent. Mom gasped. You ungrateful. I raised a hand. No, we're done. Turned and left. Logan, Dad called, if you walk away. I paused, turned. If I walk away, like you walked away from me? Silence. Then I nodded. That's what I thought. And left them there. My revenge wasn't just saying no. It was making sure they watched me win. I made it clear. No money. No help. No second chances. People like them don't take no well. Days later, the attacks began. First, bad reviews online. 1 star, overpriced food, rude owner, avoid. Another, terrible experience, staff unprofessional, smelled like garbage. Another, don't support this selfish, ungrateful owner. I chuckled. Nice try, Mom. She played victim like always, first throwing you under the bus, then acting hurt. I pictured her typing fake reviews over overpriced wine. But they didn't stop there. A city inspector showed up. Anonymous complaint, possible permit issues. I nodded. Let me guess, a middle-aged woman and her spoiled daughter? He shrugged. Can't say, but you probably know. I did. Then complaints about seating space, noise, food safety. They tried to drown me in red tape, fines, and kill my business. But I'm not that easy to break. I hired a lawyer. Every permit, license, regulation was airtight. Even the inspector admitted nothing was wrong. I doubled marketing. If they wanted to ruin my reputation, I'd drown them out with success. I started hosting special events, live music nights, giveaways, exclusive tasting menus. I invited local influencers for VIP previews and let the internet do the rest. I expanded. If they thought I was a problem before, they had no idea what was coming. I leased the lot next door and opened an outdoor beer garden, partnered with artists to launch weekend craft markets. What they meant as sabotage, I turned into free publicity. And business exploded. Then Emily made the biggest mistake of her life. It was a packed Saturday night, music playing, food sizzling, the crowd buzzing. The lot was electric, filled with laughter and the scent of tacos. Then I heard the shouting. This place is a joke. I turned. Emily. Drunk, hair disheveled, mascara smeared, her designer dress wrinkled like she'd cried the whole drive over. Mom trailed behind her, trying to hold her back. Emily, stop, this isn't. Emily yanked free. I can't believe you think you're better than us, she shouted. You're a mechanic, Logan, a mechanic pretending to be a businessman. Phones came out, cameras started rolling. Perfect. I walked toward her, voice calm. Emily, leave. She stumbled closer. Oh, what, you think you're important now, better than us? I smirked. I don't think it, I know it. Her face twisted. You're nothing. And then, splash. She snatched a drink off someone's table and threw it straight at me. Cold beer soaked my chest. The entire lot fell silent. Then, chaos. 2 of my security guards tackled her. Gasps, whispers, phones flashing. Mom screamed. Let her go, that's your sister. I calmly brushed off my shirt and turned to security. Call the cops. Emily's eyes went wide. No, Logan, don't. I crouched next to her, voice low. Actions have consequences. 10 minutes later, red and blue lights lit the lot. Mom shrieked. You're ruining the family name. I laughed. No, you did that all by yourself. Emily sobbed as officers led her to the cruiser. She looked just like I did years ago when they humiliated me. But unlike them, I didn't care. Mom turned to me, shaking. She's your sister, do something. I crossed my arms. Oh, like you did something for me when I got a parking lot and a punchline? She had no answer. I turned toward my customers. Oh, and Mom? She looked up. Hope the beach house was worth it. Then I walked back into my thriving business. They wanted to watch me fail. Now they had front row seats to my success. After Emily's meltdown and arrest, I figured they'd get the message. They didn't. A week later, Mom and Dad showed up, no smug grins this time, no snide remarks, just desperation. I was mid-meeting with my event planner when I saw them hovering at the entrance, out of place in a world they never thought I'd belong to. I let them wait. Then I walked over, arms folded. You're back. Let me guess Emily's too embarrassed to crawl here herself? Dad cleared his throat. We need to talk, Logan. I raised a brow. You mean like when you gave Emily a mansion and handed me a slab of cracked asphalt? Mom pursed her lips. This isn't about the past. I chuckled. Oh, but it is, because if you hadn't treated me like garbage, you wouldn't be standing here begging. Her lip trembled. We're in trouble. I already knew. Emily had buried herself in debt trying to keep her influencer image alive. 3 mortgage refinances, beach house on the edge of foreclosure. Dad's business? Crashing fast, the economy dipped, his partners bailed, and he was bleeding cash. They were sinking, and I was the only hand left. Dad stepped in. We're family. Family helps each other. I burst out laughing. That's rich. You didn't give a damn about family when you iced me out. Now that you're broke, suddenly I'm family again? Mom's voice cracked. You have more than enough to help. Why be so cruel? I stepped in close. Cruel? Oh no. Cruel would be buying your house just to evict you. Dad's face went pale. You wouldn't. I smirked. Wouldn't I? Because I'd planned for this. After their sabotage, after Emily's tantrum, I knew they'd come crawling. So I made a move. While they were drowning in debt, I'd been buying real estate quietly. Including their home. My childhood home. It had hit foreclosure weeks earlier. I'd bought it in cash. Mom's face went ghost white. No. I pulled out my phone and held up the screen. Logan Reed, property purchase confirmed. Dad's hands shook. You bought our house? I tilted my head. You mean the house where I was never welcome? The one where I was treated like a mistake? Mom clutched my arm. Please, Logan, don't take our home. I pulled away. Now you know what it feels like to lose everything. She started to cry. I didn't flinch. Then I hit them with the final blow. You know what? I said, almost kindly. I'll let you keep the house. Mom gasped. You will? Dad exhaled. Relief washed over them. I smiled. Sure, on one condition. They nodded, too eager. I pulled out a contract, one I'd prepared in advance. You'll pay rent, every month, no excuses, no delays. Mom's jaw dropped. You're serious? Dead serious. Dad swallowed. How much? I named a figure. It was high, not cruel, just heavy enough they'd feel it. Mom looked horrified. You're charging us to live in our own home? I grinned. No, I'm charging you to live in my home. Silence. Dad slumped. We don't have a choice, do we? I shrugged. Sure you do, there's a lovely budget motel 5 minutes down the road. Reluctantly, they signed. Dad's hand trembled. Mom nearly tore through the paper. I folded the contract, tucked it in my pocket. Pleasure doing business with you. Then I turned and walked away, leaving them stunned and silent. Dad rubbed his temples. Mom wiped away silent tears, humiliated. They had spent a lifetime belittling me, mocking me, dismissing me. Now, I owned their house. I owned their future. I owned them. And as I stepped back into my thriving business, I smiled. They thought I'd be nothing. Now I own everything, and they have nothing.